So thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I think, I think my light is a bit dim, but if that's fine, I'll go ahead and start the session. And there is one thing I want to say before I want to kickstart this presentation, that it's not a Gyan session. I want it to be an interactive session, because this is when we are speaking about building your career in application security, which means I want you to ask as many questions you want to ask. And there is no question which is a dumb question, because that's what I've learned over the years. And I don't shy away in asking any question. Like, be it I'm anywhere, I ask questions. Even if it's from a college student, even if it's from a kid who is 6 years old. Because if I don't know it, I don't know it till the time I ask these questions. And especially right now, you are in college, and you have a platform wherein I'm so glad that the professors are involved. Kudos to them. And I'm still very close to my professors who were way back, like 15, 16 years back. I'm still in touch, because I feel that where I stand today, it's because of the professors or the teachers that taught me the things and made me the person who I am today. So if they're doing these many efforts for you, I think it's become important. You also should come up and ask questions. And trust me, I'm a shameless person when it comes to being there till the time you don't ask questions. So keep posting your questions in the chat box, as well as like if you think that you want to reach out to me personally, my LinkedIn and Twitter DMs are open. Feel free to shout. I'll be more than happy to take up your questions. Now, let me start here. So about my day job is with a company named Sneak. Most of you would not know about this company, because this is the first time they have hired a person in India. So I'm a security relations leader for APJ region, where we will be taking care of the activities which will happen in Australia, New Zealand, India, China, Japan, and few other places. Apart from that, I'm also part of OWASP. So people say that I'm neck deep into OWASP. That's the statement I just heard some days back only. Now, why people say that, or why I feel also the same, because I am on the global board of OWASP, wherein there are 7 people from the world, and I'm one of them. And then I also lead 2 projects as part of OWASP, and I'm also chapter leader for local group, OWASP Bangalore. But that's not how my journey started. I never knew that OWASP was a group or OWASP is a community. I knew that OWASP is just a testing guide, and that's about it. Think about that, you know, that it's just a book, and suddenly you get to know that it's a huge community of people around the world. And that's how I got introduced to it, and rest is a history. So whenever you feel that this is something you are interested in joining, this is the place which is very welcoming. It has welcomed me, wherein I was thinking that I don't know if I belong to this place, but then I realized that yes, this is a place where I can join. And if I talk about the presentation, so when we talk about AppSec, how it all started, because when we go to our browsers, or even on phone or on laptop or desktops, we see that the sites are on HTTP or HTTPS. Now, when I talk about HTTP, is that secure? Most of you would maybe know about it, maybe not know about it. So HTTPS is not a secure protocol. So when it started, it was only started to share some communication in a university. But then later on, people started seeing that we can use it for a secure communication as well. And that's how the whole history started, wherein we started with the SSL, then TLS, the TLS different versions came in, people started testing it, and Chrome actually started HSTS so that nobody can interpret the communication and try and forge the communication. And then forward secrecy came into picture, TLS 1.2 came into picture, and so many more things around this came into picture. And then even organizations like Google, if yes, on your website, there will not be a proper ranking to your website, which is a legit thing, that your website is not secure. So people started getting the SSL certificates. And that's how it all started. But then it is needed for all of us to understand why we have it, because it only helps in securing ourselves. Think about, you're uploading some pictures on Insta. Oh, so Insta, I never used to use much. So I just started using some time back, wherein I felt that, okay, let's try and see what exactly it is and how we can, how we use it. Just so I started using, but then I see that a lot of people upload pictures, upload videos and reels and whatnot. But think about, you are uploading a reel and suddenly somebody go ahead and change it or delete it or modify it to something else. Would you like it? Absolutely not. It's your pictures. Then think about, if you are posting something on any of your social media and it's manipulated to something else, or Gmail. If you're sending some email, maybe from any of the mail systems, you're sending to your friends or maybe professors, and suddenly somebody in between changes the content for it, and it reaches as something else to your professors. Maybe it's in case of your assignments, the assignment is removed and say that I don't want to do the assignment. Would it be scary? Absolutely, it'll be scary. And now though we have started talking about privacy, like it's all over the news. And especially this Pegasus though is going in totally a different direction. See, these things are very important. And why we are talking about it, because it's not just for college students to understand or the people who are working in application security to understand. It is there for all of us to understand, at least the minimum of it. If I talk about my own career, I did not start into application security. Like right now, cybersecurity is a career. People think that it's a career. But back then, when we started off, we didn't know that cybersecurity, I'll feel that, oh, this is my career, I am so passionate about. No, uh, I was not even aware about it. Everyone in our batch or everyone in our group wanted to be like a developer. I want to be a Java developer. At that time, Java was like all time hype. So sometimes you don't have a choice of your career in the beginning, and then we used to be very scared about it. And it's all a serendipity that we landed in this domain, wherein we got the job, we came for a project, and then the project got over. We were asked to get interviewed in another project, because we were all freshers. So we got interviewed and we all got distributed. And by God's grace, I would say thanks to them, that I got put into the this hotshot space of cybersecurity. So I got the chance to work in security operations center. So I started as a network person. I have configured firewalls, switches, routers, and whatnot. But then when I moved to my next job, they said, we've hired you for network security, but then we have so many roles open for application security and we want you to go there. Okay, that was again a decision to make, whether I want to take this choice or not. So I went ahead, I took a leap of faith. And here, when you talk about cybersecurity has so many faces. Let's talk about network. I'm sure you must have labs in your college. So for the labs, they are interconnected. When they're interconnected, there is a network that has been set up. So how do you secure it? Similarly, in organization, this is a kind of network which is there. And from network to application to cloud to mobile to everything, you can attach security. Even a normal person now can understand there's some security. I'm sure half of you, or maybe most of you, I'm just guessing, that would have a passcode on your phone. Like, I am so scared of using patterns, those patterns, because I can just remove it in a few seconds. So I'm using a passcode. If you're not using a passcode, start using a passcode. And that's why it all starts from home. And all the apps that you're using, which are there, those also have a passcode, or maybe those also are secure via some way. And this is how the architecture looks like for any app or any web application, wherein there are few things which run on your device, maybe laptop, maybe phone, maybe any other place. So what are those things? From JavaScript. So remember one thing, Scripts run on your device. Script run on your end. That's called client side. So we are all clients. And then there is a server. When you interact with Instagram or Facebook or any other application, do you see that as soon as the internet is connected and you type facebook.com, Instagram, Gmail, or anything, it opens up, right? How it opens up? Because there is a request that goes from your device to router to the server, and it comes back. So there are few things which are running at the server side, which is the language in which the code is developed. As at the same time, the database and app server, which is there. So it's very important when you're trying to even if you're not trying to be an application security person, but a developer or maybe a tester in this domain, in a tech domain, you need to understand how exactly it's built. What is the architecture? It's not just that, okay, this is a job I've been given and I'm going to do it. Trust me, this whole IT or tech field is so dynamic that you have to learn something new every day. Because if you don't do it, you'll be in trouble. And that's why we keep learning new things. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, people think, oh, so many things I'm doing. But think about, I have that kind of a feeling that if I don't learn new things, I would not be like I'll be lagging behind. So what I do is I keep reading things. I don't have to be on internet all the time. People think I am, but I don't. So for application security, when you want to start a career, there are so many wonderful blogs which are there. Start reading about them. And even before that, start reading about application architecture, what it is. It will help you in your projects, which you will do it in your college. At the same time, it will also help you in getting started with the application development phase. So you will have interest in the development, as well as you'll have a touch of application security as well. And it's not too hard. Trust me, it is not too difficult. It's just that we need to understand how to do it. And if you know the right guidance, trust me, it is going to be amazing. You'll enjoy it. Like it keeps me going. I feel I just wake up every day, do all these new things, understand new things, because I feel that yes, this is something which is new. So let's talk about security testing history or web app security testing history, wherein the first pen testing was done in 1938, and then there are so many other things that keep on coming up every now and then. Then people started talking about cross-site scripting, different vulnerabilities, different vulnerable apps. And then there are tools which got developed and people started using those tools. And when they started using those tools, they realized that it is important that when there is something, it can be breached. I'm sure all of you have a bank account. If not, let's say some of you have a bank account. And when you have a bank account, do you have a username and password? I'm sure you will have, or how you will log into your bank account. Or, okay, think about right now, I have a bank account and Akash can log into my bank account. Would I be scared? Absolutely. Why? He gets to know what I am doing. And so that's when application security plays a big role, wherein we're trying to secure the web apps for users, for our customers, for organizations themselves. And how it happens in all different phases. So now we're talking about DevSecOps. So here, how the attack happens on web applications. There is a browser, there is a proxy in the middle, and then there is a web server. So here, I'm not trying to go too deep into application testing because there's a whole lot of like training content that I have created for free. I can give it to you like after the session. I'll just share those details so that you can go over that. So when you send a request from your browser, it goes to proxy. On the proxy, you can modify and then send it to the server. Server responds back with your kind of a response. And then you go ahead and start manipulating. So a friend of mine, what that person did is that they wanted to watch a movie. So they went to one of the sites, played around with it. They started booking the tickets. Okay, fine, because that's what we all do. And Now, when you book a ticket, there's a price that comes up. The person said, no, I don't want to pay this much money. So what should I do? And when you have a reverse mind, sometimes you just end up uh, like manipulating things. So this person manipulated the things or the parameters from the cost of the ticket, which was 450 rupees. He changed it to 4 rupees. Okay. The request went to the server, came back as pay 4 rupees. Like, wow. So this person booked 10 tickets, went for a movie, came back, but realized this is not the ethical way to do it. So that person reported the vulnerability to the right people. They rewarded that person with huge amount of money. And recently, I think Google has started its own academy for bug bounty hunting, wherein you legitimately report these bugs in the applications. Okay. And now when we talk about bugs, there are so many bugs which are there. And especially if I talk about OWASP has the top 10, which almost in everyone in the industry follows, because anyone or any organization which is dealing with application security, they take OWASP top 10 very seriously, literally. Even during the compliance audits, people take it very seriously. So there is a bug which is there for a long time. And I hope that the top 10 that releases this year, it is removed. So XSS is one bug which has gone down from 1 to bottom, like from top to bottom, it has come 7th. But I hope this gets away, but then it's still there. And it was started with the like Microsoft to like people detected that there's something which is happening, and then over the year it just grew. People started doing cheat sheets, educating people, and then I hope that this year it just goes away so that we have new bugs that we see. So in like I've not added the 2021 section, which I'll add that it has gone away. I am hoping, but just stay tuned for it. So this is how the top 10 looks like. These are the top vulnerabilities. This is not just all. So this is the list of top 10 vulnerabilities, which we should look at. But when you go inside, there are many more associated vulnerabilities, which are part of it. And you must be thinking, I'm just a student. How should I learn these things? So when you go to OWASP.org page and go to top 10, there are details listed. What this vulnerability is all about. How do you detect it? What are the things that can be done? How do you remediate it, which is fix it? And it's very important that when you know about a security bug or a vulnerability, you should know how to fix it. A good security researcher is the one who knows about the vulnerability and then know how to fix it. That's how it goes. So these were the new ones which came in 2017. So it comes, so when we talk about OWASP top 10, it comes every 3 years, tentatively every 3 years. It was supposed to be out in 2020, but we all know that we had some unprecedented, not so good times, and we couldn't release it. Now, coming back here, when we talk about application security, now people have started moving from traditional software development lifecycle, where the security used to come in the end, to a model where DevOps comes into picture. Dev and Ops working together in a very continuous fashion, and then security embedded as part of it. Out of your college, or even now, if you start surfing about DevSecOps, DevSec, you will see there's a lot of content around there, that how things are developed, how applications are developed. Even when you are creating your own website, you must be writing the code, then testing it locally, and then pushing it to production. That's what I do. I have my own website, infosecvandana.com. I keep the stuff up to date. It's been 1 month, I have not updated, but yes, I do. But that's my own website, and it's a static pages, so it's fine. But organizations have dynamic pages. They have to update it. They have to make sure that things are up to date. And in the whole CI/CD pipeline, which is continuous integration and continuous development, there are multiple phases. Now, all these phases have to have security embedded as part of it, starting with requirements gathering. Now, what is a requirement gathering? Requirement gathering is a phase when you take the information from the client, or you write it down. This is what you want for your own application. So that's what requirement is, that because the application which comes in the end, that will be the byproduct of it. So once that's done, there is something called threat modeling that will be done. And when I talk about threat modeling, understanding the risk or risks that can be there in the application. Now, application can be a thin application like your browser application, or it will be an app which is on your phone or your laptop or anywhere that you can download. And then comes a phase wherein you are writing the code, maybe in Java, Node.js, PHP, .NET, ASP.NET, and so many other languages are there, Ruby on Rails, React.js, and whatnot. So when you are writing a code, you are securely writing a code. So you understand that these are the things that can create issues for my code. Now, why I'm saying we need to start fixing early, because if we fix in production, like the website is like live right now, you're on Instagram and suddenly somebody snatches your credentials and don't let you log in. Would you be scared? I'll be super scared. Like, I have multi-factor authentication enabled on all my things. That crazy I am about security. Now, isn't that it? No. Then came a point when the breaches like Equifax, if you go back and look for it, or the bugs for open source softwares, open source components, like I'm using Hugo for some of my website, I'm using Jekyll for some of my websites, or I might be using WordPress, Joomla, or maybe something else. Now, if I don't keep them up to date, will it be a problem? Absolutely. That will be a big, big, big problem. That my softwares which are not up to date, my website will be vulnerable as byproduct of that. So it's very important to keep our third-party components up to date and keep making sure that these things are in sync. Then comes the testing phase, wherein the website is ready to push to go to the internet, and we are testing for security bugs. And then once we have done all of it, and if we don't track the bugs properly, which is not fix them, it will be as good as doing nothing. Then there are some defensive controls which organization puts, like web application firewall, putting IDS, IPSs, putting SIM solutions, which is security information and event management, all to make things we get notified. And the best part, training and awareness. And that's what we're trying to do, that we're trying to understand what are all the phases when we're trying to develop an application and how we're trying to educate each other and share the information which is relevant for all of us. So what is the key goal of AppSec or application security? So that we automate the things. And right now, it is even more important because we are talking about DevSecOps. And when we are developing fast, and DevSecOps in a very agile way. Now, agile means failing fast so that you get to know. So you're working on a project, you spend 5 months on it, and then it fails. Would it hurt? Absolutely. So if you are working on a project and it fails in 2 days and you realize that I have to change a way, will it be good? Yeah, 2 days is fine. Let's change the way our things work and let's start. And now when we talk about online education, that was the toughest part. So professors, teachers, they had to change their way of teaching. It's not easy to teach students online. Trust me, I've been teaching students. I have kids at home who are getting homeschooled. It's super tough. It's like getting people engaged. I'm not sure how much you are listening to me. Maybe you are sleeping. So I'm like, oh, is it worth? Maybe you listen back again. But I can try to get you engaged that, yes, if I'm talking something, let's ask some questions if you don't understand anything. And when I talk about the whole AppSec goal, it's about providing the visibility, providing the right kind of metrics so that we can detect the bugs early. We can get to know that what our application is all about and putting the right kind of security. Now, when we are talking about an AppSec program, how and what all things do we need? If you have a problem solving capability, or you feel that, yes, you have a knack to do things differently, this is a space for you. Even if you are not a software developer, totally fine. I was not a software developer. Maybe I wanted to be, but then no, I couldn't be. So I did just few projects. I still keep working on different languages, but then that's not a mandate thing. So do you need any formal education for it? No, you just start learning. It's a gradual process. It takes some time, but then it's a gradual process. And whether you need to have an IT experience now, no. If if you do self learning, even if you get a good internship in this, totally good. Certification, I never go for certifications which are paid. Or if they're paid, my company pays for it because I want them to. So in college, I never say that you go for your any paid certification. Like that's my purview, that I never suggest any paid certifications in college till the time you get a sponsorship. So there are many certification bodies which keep giving the certifications, and we also share so many certification vouchers for CompTIA certifications and EC Council certifications. So if you want to do some, if we have a drive, probably we can share some. This career is very, very different. Like you can be an analyst, you can be into IT support for applications, or at the same time, you might want to be into the technical line or a managerial line. So it all depends on you, what you really, really want to do in this line. So many things, from threat modeler to application tester to doing the code reviews. You can do much, much, much more. So there are so many things that can be done. Now, when we talk about new joiners or new people here, what can we do? Like, I am so new to it. This was my feeling when I joined AppSec. So there are so many places where you can join. There's OWASP, like we are joining today. And OWASP, this is one of the chapters, but there are 350 more chapters which are there. And everything is online right now, except a couple of places. Rest, everything is online. So you can join those meetups, connect with people, connect with leaders. And probably that'll be the best way to start. And send people LinkedIn request. When I talk about LinkedIn request, literally I do send it to the people whom I want to be connected. But do send them with a message so that people can add you. Sometimes if you just send it just like that, people might not accept. There are people who don't accept. So when you type a proper message and then send a request, people like, okay, this person has wanted to connect, so let's connect. There are so many industry events which keep happening. So join all these events, which will help you grow in this industry, not just in application security, not just in cyber security, but in general in IT. And it will also reduce your job hunt. Another main point is that how do we move forward? So OWASP has OWASP.org. There are chapters. There are 350, more than 350 now places. And then there are many emerging fields. And we all are in together, starting with critical infrastructure security, to application, to network, to cloud, to mobile, to IoT, to many things. Anything and everything is part of the cybersecurity domain. And that's why I said that we all are in this together. So this is something about LinkedIn profile, what it is not. So when I talk about LinkedIn, people just keep on sending requests for chit chatting and time pass. Don't do that. Don't use that. LinkedIn is just for in-person communication or taking numbers. No, it is a proper profile, professional profile to find your dream job. Companies hunt for the dream candidates. When I got hired in my previous roles, even at IBM, even at Sneak, from people reached out to me from LinkedIn by looking at my profile. So it's important to have a good profile there. Keep everything updated. Sometimes I used to feel like, do I post too much? But no, there are relevant things that I wanted to share with people and wanted to learn from there. And that's how it is important to create your own profile, not just on LinkedIn. Maybe if you want something else, it's fine. Like I am passionate about updating my profile. I want people to know that this is who I am. These are the things that I do. But I am not what my company is. I am who I am. I'm an individual personality. That's the only thing you remember. And my company appreciates for me and for who I am and what the things that I want to do. And when you are updating LinkedIn, update profile picture. Have a relevant profile picture, not some here and there things. Write a proper post on your wall. Uh, Talk about the trainings that you're doing. Have a brief write about you, what you've done so far, and try and get recommendations from your professors. Now, on that note, I'm coming almost to the end. These are the two books that I suggest, which I really, really like. The Phoenix Project is something which you will enjoy reading. I have read a couple of times and I still feel that there's something new I learn every time I go for it. And yeah, almost done. You can reach me on my Twitter handle, which is InfoSecVandana, and this is how I'm paranoid about security. And I'm also there on LinkedIn. Feel free to drop me a note on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to have a chat around your career, but please do customize your message and